Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So glad to see you all here today, and welcome to another episode of Running with Scissors, where we have fun with paper and ink and paste and paint and all of the fun crafty mediums to create all sorts of great stuff. So holy cow, today I really felt like I was running with scissors. I did a dental appointment earlier. Don't ask how it's going. It's really not good. But then I had to come back here. I'm working on getting the challenge all set up for us for April and putting out emails and making sure that things are at least minimally ready to go. And they are. So we're going to talk about that in a second. And of course, pulling out everything that I needed for today. So crazy day. I will be glad when we get done here. I'll be able to chill out a little bit and then get right back into it and finish up a few things before the weekend hits. Okay, so hello, crafty friends. So glad to see you all out in the chat. If you are new here, do give us a hello. Tell us where you're from. We always like to talk about the weather. Tell us what it's like. It's kind of cold and spittly here. We had a little bit of snow this morning, but of course that didn't last long. So, because we are firmly into spring, we've got the tulips and the crocus coming up in the lawn, in the yard. So, yay. Spring is here. Summer will be here before we know it. Typically in Nebraska, we get spring for like 2 days and then it's summertime. So you know how that goes. Anyway, so say hello if you're new. And don't forget to give today's video a thumbs up so the YouTube algorithm will know how much you love my content. So, all right. Let's take a look at some announcements. All right. Hey, there's a couple old changes. The registration for April's One Set Challenge is open. There is so much going on in this challenge. It's crazy. If you are a member of the Bloom community or the Technique Library membership, the monthly membership where you get a new technique every week till the end of time, check your email. I literally just sent out messages to you guys. So check that out before you head over to register for the challenge. Now the challenge is going to go all month long. Every Tuesday, you're going to get 2 new techniques and the technique sheets that go along with them. So you can create an amazing binder like this. Look at this. My technique binder is already totally full. All right, so every week you're going to get 2 techniques. So that's a total of 8 techniques for the month. Plus on Thursdays, we're going to do, of course, our regular YouTube live here with this stamp set. This is our challenge stamp set. All right, we're going to do a project. And then right after, well, not right after, like I'm giving us a little potty break so you can grab, a cup of joe or whatever, something to eat. I need just a minute to like reset and then move over to Zoom. We're going to have a private Zoom. I don't know if I put that in the message, but a private Zoom for about 30 minutes, 45 minutes to talk about the week's techniques, the week's project, any other crafty questions you have. Awesome. And then, yes, people, there's more. There will be a linky party, so you can link up your own projects to help provide additional inspiration. So whether you decide to case the project, or you kind of case the project where you do a little bit of it, but you change the colors around, or you change the layup around, or you use a different stamp set, that can all go in the linky, and we're going to have giveaways from that. Lots and lots of giveaways, lots of great stuff. And then, yes, there's more. Crazy, I am going to Creativation, and that is April 8th through 12th. I will be there the 9th through the 11th. And while I'm there, I'm going to be filming some videos, showing some sneak peeks, maybe catching up with some friends and that kind of stuff. I'm going to put it all on YouTube, but I'm going to put it on there privately for you guys first. So you're going to get first crack at all of the cool stuff that I see at Creativation. And it's going to be pretty awesome. So join the challenge. Join the challenge. The link is bloomcrafters.com/courses. Yes, I know I'm Nicole, creates all of my training and community and the technique library and everything. That's all over on Bloom Crafters. So bloomcrafters.com/courses. And I'm going to show you guys real quick. So when you go to bloomcrafters.com/courses, this is what you're going to see. If you just go to bloomcrafters.com, you're going to see this. You might see something different because I'm working on changing this up. But you're going to go to classes and memberships, or if you go straight to bloomcrafters.com/courses, this is where you're going to end up. This is the one we're looking for, people. The one with the nice ton of shoes, Stamp Focus Challenge. Click on that. It's going to give you all of the details, all of the info, all the great stuff, what you're going to get by the end of the challenge, of course, your registration. Join now. Join now. There's some frequently asked questions and all that good stuff. Join now. You will be able to register throughout the month, or at least a little bit into April. So if you don't register right away, that's okay, but you're going to miss out on all of the live stuff that's going to happen, of course, the first week, second week, etc. So register now and you'll be ready to go for April. All right, and get your stamp set. If you want to really, really follow along, get this stamp set. If this stamp set really doesn't appeal to you, you will still learn something. The techniques are universal. You can use them for all sorts of projects. If you have another big stamp set with a lot of room to color, that's another great option. All right, so like any of the other Picket fence stamps that have like a lot of big imagery and big open space, or maybe even the Colorado Craft Company, they've got those big stamps. Any of those would work really well for these projects too. All right, that is my spiel on the one set challenge. Open now. Go. All right. Of course, the technique freebie is always available. Just sign up for my mailing list, NicoleWattCreates.com/technique freebie. You will get that when you sign up for my mailing list. So thank you. Crafty sales. Ooh, lots of great crafty sales. Scrapbook.com does it again. They have more stuff on sale right now, and also a 5% off coupon. Yes. So, and that's off your entire order. Get it. Oh, and Concord and Ninth is now registering for their summer camp event. I don't know if it's sold out yet or not. Check that out. All right. As always, if you're inspired by anything that I create here on my channel, whether it's today, yesterday, a technique from a month ago, whatever, totally tag me at Nicole Watt Creates on Instagram. I would love to see what you're creating. Love to see all of your creativity. Oh my gosh. So hello, Cece. She has been on a creativity tear with last week's project. She pulled out all of her acrylic paints that she didn't remember she had, and she's been making all these amazing projects. So check out Cece's profile out there. She's been doing some really great stuff. I'll have to reshare because they look really cool. All right. I truly appreciate your support when you use my affiliate links to shop. When you do use those affiliate links, I might get a small commission, always at no additional cost to you. Best way to support your crafty friends out there in the blogosphere and YouTube land and all that good stuff. Support your crafters, use affiliate links. And if you don't want to, or if you don't need to do any shopping, but you want to support me directly, you can always use my link to the tip jar and send me a tip. All right. Another way you can support me is to click on that subscribe button. Thank you to everybody who subscribed this week. I really appreciate your support in that way. Adding more subscribers to my channel, of course, lets YouTube know that people like what I do here. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. All right. So let's see. I'm just going to go through the questions really quick here. Hello. Let's see. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Ha! Anne wants to know if we're going to stamp images in the toes of the stamp. No, we're not, but we're going to do some really cool stuff with it. So, you know, it's going to be really cool. You're going to want to, of course, check out all the cool things we're going to be doing with that stamp. All right, just move these out of the way. Oh. Let's take a look at today's project. And here it is. All right, so we are ending our month. Oh, for those of you who are new here, the 5th Thursday. So March has 5 Thursdays. March next week, next Thursday is March 31st. I always take the 5th Thursday off. It's just a time for me to rest and recuperate and recharge for the next length of videos that we do. So we will not have a live stream next week. I might pop up another video anyway, but we will not have a live stream next week. All right, so this is our last project for the month. We are doing paint, paste, and powder. So I've got paste going on, I've got paint going on, and I have powder going on, all in this one piece right here. All right, so we're going to create that element and do some really fun work with this. As you can see here, this is embossed as well, but this is from a stencil. So I'm going to show you guys how that all works. All right, it's going to be fun. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, so I've got all sorts of things here. I got our Picket Fence stamp and die set. This is More Fancy Sentiments. It's a really great set. We're going to use the mod circles, and then I've got some other things from scrapbook.com. They're shapes dies. This is Sprigs. Got some really cool pieces in it. And then they're nested flag banners. Their nested flag banners are huge. Like you could do like a real bunting with these if you wanted to. All right. No place to put anything. We're going to start. Actually, we're going to start with this while it's clean and while the stencil is clean. All right, Anne is asking, this is an interesting question. Her niece is graduating from West Point. Do I know how she could get a logo? So she's asking that because I'm prior military. Haha. You can go to the Academy website and they might have assets like down in the, usually in the footer they put this kind of thing, like a press package where you can get graphics and things like that. Sometimes you can just right click and save as the graphic, and if it's large enough it'll work well. Send me an email, Anne, and I will help you out with that, because that should be pretty easy to do. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is emboss with our stencil. So this is a piece of white cardstock. Now this happens to be some white cotton rag cardstock that I like to use for this technique because it is more of a, it's kind of like a little sponginess to it. It's really great for letterpress. All right, so it's going to emboss really well. Let me show you how we do this. So easy. You grab your regular sandwich. You might want to grab a piece of paper or a shim. These are the iCrafter Mylar shims. They're kind of they're a little thicker than the other Mylar shims that I had from Sizzix, but these will work really well. Or just grab a couple pieces of paper, either way. All right, and I'm just going to take this paper and I'm going to spray it. just to get it a little wet. Now, a lot of people do this when they do regular embossing as well, because it helps the paper to not crack and to really get into all the detailed impressions. So this is just another way to do this with your stencil. So we're just going to put the stencil right on top like we would any other sandwich. And then I'm going to put my shim and my top acrylic plate. So this is my sandwich for my my Gemini Junior. If you're using your if you're using a Sizzix or a Spellbinders, I think there's like an extra plate that you put up underneath this, but this is all I need for my Gemini Junior. So I'm going to run this through. And it's going to grind its way through. All right. Let's check out the magic. Ooh, look at that. So textury. It's awesome. So super simple. And then this just, it's still a little damp because I sprayed it, but it just needs to dry. So the reason why I like to use a little thicker, spongier cardstock is that because it really presses into all the spaces and it'll give you a really great impression. Now you can use this with regular 80-pound cardstock and still get good results. So don't let that stop you. You don't need anything special. I just happen to have it, and I really like the way that it looks. It's nice and crisp. But you can do this with regular 80-pound cardstock. It will give you a really good result. All right, so we're going to set this aside. We're going to need to cut this down to a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. But I'll set that aside for now. Right. Because we need to play. All right, so now I've got this really great cardstock. This is Adriatic by Hero Arts. Hero Arts cardstock is super thick. I love it. Their colored cardstock is super, super thick. Okay, we're going to use the mod circles again for this. And I'm creating something more than what I need. So I will have a leftover piece. That way, if I mess up on something or I don't like something, you know, I can decide where I want to cut from, and that'll be okay. So I forgot. Needed to grab a palette knife. And I've got my copper embossing powder. So now we're going to do embossing over embossing powder over embossing paste through a stencil. All right, so this doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to cover everywhere. This is very much mixed media. So if there's little spaces that don't get covered, it's okay. Actually, I almost prefer it because it just really gives it more of that distressed look. We don't want it to look perfect. All right, so there we go. Super easy. This is the Distress Collage medium, the Crackling medium. So this is going to dry clear and it's going to crackle as we go. But these two things now I need to pop into the sink so that they don't dry on here. Yeah, so Sue, this is going to be clear. The Distress Collage medium, the Crackling medium, this is translucent. There are other brands out there that do a translucent paste. It's not really a paste, it's more like a thick gel, kind of like the paper glaze from Picket. All right. And then I know like Imagine Crafts also has a clear kind of gel glaze that works really well. They've got one that's sparkly and one that's just plain. Okay, so now that we've got this done, we're gonna pop into our embossing powder. And this we just want to be random, so it doesn't have to go everywhere. So there we go. It didn't go everywhere. It went a lot of places, but it didn't go everywhere. And then we're going to heat it up. So sing a song, turn on some music, something like that. And I'm going to heat this up. Okay, so this is going to take forever. Good thing I have a spare piece. I just want to show you guys, like, check out all of that texture that's going on in there. It's amazing when you see it in person. It's all like pitted and gross, and it's really, really cool. So, and this is actually here is dry already. So it doesn't really take long. Actually, I'm just going to finish up like half of this, and then that'll be enough for us to work with. All right, so there you go. So this is not done yet. This side is done. I'm just going to chop it off, and we'll use this half to continue on so we can create our little distressed piece here. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, so Sue says she has Ranger clear embossing paste. It probably would work just like this. All right, so check that out. It's hard and in spots it's clear. And so what happens when you heat the crazing is that it actually bubbles up like this instead of cracking the way like a crackle or a crazing should. But it works really well. It looks really awesome. If I let that other piece dry first, then the gel should craze, and then you would be able to finish heating the embossing powder, and it would work just as well. So, but this is really cool. All right, so we're gonna distress this even more. So paint, powder, paste, all three today. Let's go in. All right. Ooh. We are super close. Okay, so here is our piece. I just have some water in my little container here. I've got some sponges. These are just makeup sponges. So just get yourself some makeup sponges. You can wash these out in between, so you will get lots of use out of them. Okay, and then I've got 3 paints. I've got Crackling Campfire, Rustic Wilderness, and Salvaged Patina. So I'm going to be making like a very patina-y look on this. Let me back up just a little bit. There we go. Some breathing room. Okay. Shake it up. All right, so these guys have a agitator, and make sure that you're shaking them up before you use them. And we will put a little drop of each on our palette. Okay, you could totally leave your piece just like this, no problem. But what I'm going to do is dip my sponge in some water. So I just got it in some water here to help loosen this up a little bit. And then we're going to dab. So what this is going to do is it's also going to activate the distress properties of this. So you know how when you use distress, it turns kind of white and chalky. So adding water to your sponge is going to help with that. We don't want it to be too wet because you don't want your paper to get like too out of control. Now go over the copper. All right, and if you've gone over a little bit too much, just take a clean edge of your sponge and just grab some of that up. All right, and I'm just going into all three colors. All right, and I need just a little bit of blue on the top here. Vicky, the stamp is called Walk, Crawl, or Run. There's a link for it right down in the description. All right, so I just wanted to add in a little bit of the blue right on top, but there we go. So just some little dabs, right? Nothing too crazy, but look at how I just grunged that up. Oh, I love it. So good. This turns it into like a really nice masculine kind of look. It's been outside for a while. It's awesome. Okay, so you can heat this up a little bit to dry it. All right, and there we go. So now this piece is done. So did you think this was like going to take forever? Because obviously it hasn't. All right, so let me grab this out of the way. All right, we are done with our paints. We are done with our paste. Actually, I think we're done with our heat tool too. Yes, we are. All right. Sometimes it's nice to clean up midway, right? Oh my goodness. Okay, so here we go. This is what we're working on. So we've got our background piece. This is nice and dry and ready to go. We've got our foreground piece. This is nice and dry and ready to go. We're going to need to cut some letters and some little fronds and sentiment, all that good stuff. So actually, I already have a T cut out. This is the Mega Alphabet letter T by Altenew. So I need to do one in orange. This is, I love this color orange. It is called Pumpkin, I think. It's from Hero Arts again, so it's nice and thick. It always reminds me of Tennessee. So I'm putting the T on here, like the Thinking of You T. It looks kind of Tennessee-ish to me. So go balls. I have a friend from college who's the marching band director there, Stu. He's awesome. So maybe I'll send this to him. All right, I'm gonna pop my mini blossom in place here for this guy. I'm gonna run this through. So now we got our T going on. Don't forget you can save these to do things like stenciling and things like that if you need to. And while I've got this out, let's do some little fronds. Okay, so these guys are really great from scrapbook.com. Altenew just came out with a set like these recently as well. I just feel like I'm really close up, so let me back up some more. And I'm going to grab this guy here. And actually, that's really, I think, all I need. That's all I used on this project. You could, obviously, you could do more. You could do different, all sorts of different choices with this one. And they're super cute. But I'm just going to do one. So this guy, we're going to use our shim with because it is going to cut out those really thin bits. So we're going to pop this through with the shim. Ooh, as my mini blossom moves everything around. So see how the shim just helps it cut out a little bit better. It gives it a little extra pressure, which is super helpful. This is another one that creates a really nice stencil look. So if you wanted to fill in like a whole big space and then put this on top of it with the die cuts cut out of it, that would be kind of cool. And we're going to pop out all the little pieces. You know, I tell you what, they come out with all sorts of tools for doing this kind of thing, like that little brush roller thing with the foam that goes underneath it and whatever. And I have it and I use it like 3 times. And I'm like, yeah, no, I think my fingers are good enough. Sometimes I do pull out the infamous pokey tool because that certainly helps get those little pieces out when they don't want to. And I don't know about you, but I'm getting older and eyesight is kind of like, hey, put on some reading glasses. Just can't see the way I used to. All right, so there we go. Isn't that beautiful? It's just so elegant and white. Okay, where are we at? We need to get our piece cut out of here, and we need to do some stamping. Believe it or not, we're gonna stamp something today. Oh yeah, Becca's always talking about adding foam adhesive and stuff to the insides of her die sets and they come out like butter. I really should like do that. I have a lot of die sets though. Okay, so this is another great picket fence set. It's called More Fancy Sentiments. My dear friend, happy day, thinking of you, welcome home, just because, and I love you. I like they got like the little curly cues on the end, and of course you've got the dies that go along with them. So we're going to do this one up with just some VersaFine Claire in Nocturne. Because it's classic. There's so much other stuff going on with this project that you don't need anything else. Like you don't need to heat emboss the stamp. You don't need to make it a funky color. You don't need to do any ink blending. You don't need, I mean, this one little element right here that is super grunged up and really awesome is all you need. You've got a couple little extra supporting cast members here with the T and the little fronds, and then the thinking of you. I mean, just so simple, right? So keep it clean, keep it classy, right? All right. Pop that in there. And I think I need to re-ink my Nocturne because I noticed lately I've been having to double stamp. Usually I don't have to do that. There we go. Nice and intense. Always nice and crisp too when you use VersaFine. So it is a lovely, lovely ink line. And it's not just in black either. VersaFine and VersaFine Claire come in quite a few different colors. They are the same ink. It's just that the VersaFine is the original formulation, and VersaFine Claire was named something slightly different because they tweaked the formulation so that they could create bright colors. So if you look at the VersaFine color line, they are kind of muted tones, whereas the VersaFine Claire line has a lot of bright colors in it. And that's the difference. The formulation is basically the same. So, and you get the same results from it. I did a whole video on it. People love it. I get lots of great comments on that particular video. Because it's like this big mystery. What's the difference? Okay. So perfect. No fussy cutting needed. This one is great. All right. Look at all that. Woohoo! We are chugging along, people. How was your week? Was it crafty? Was it not crafty? Do you have crafty plans for the weekend? Anything exciting going on in your world that requires crafting? Okay, we're done with all of this. I think. Yeah. Okay, so now we are down to our banner. And originally I thought I would do like a larger banner, but it ended up just kind of taking up too much space. So we're definitely going to do the smaller size that I ended up doing on my sample. And let's see, which one is it? Here it is. Okay, so it's this one here. It's like the fifth one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the middle one. All right, so Nancy wants to know, do all of the Mega Alpha dies from Altenew, do they all fit through the mini blossom? I believe the answer is yes. None of them extend past 3 inches wide. The T is probably one of the widest because it's got the top on it, right? And it is only 2.5 inches. So some might be just slightly larger, like the S, the bumps come out, and those tend to be a little bit larger, but they don't extend past 3 inches. None of them are that big. All right, so yeah, so you can use them all with mini blossom. Okay, so here is our flag die here, our pennant, and we want to make sure that when you're doing this that you are centering it, right? So find a line on your stencil bits that help keep us in line. All right, so this one happens to work out really well because then the ends are going to go right down the center of these guys here. So that works out really well. Super, super well. All right, so we're going to die cut this. And unfortunately, this one will not go through the mini blossom. So I got to pop this through my other machine. And then while I'm doing that, I'm going to cut this down to my 5.5 by 4.25. Love it when I can do 2 things at once. All right, so yeah, Sue said she never would have thought to use the line in the stencil to center the die. Yeah, that really makes a big difference to make sure that you've got everything lined up. All right, so I did the same thing then with this. And that's going to work out really great. Okay, so what I did here is that I made sure that I also had the center of the die going down the center. So that way I can kind of match up my die cut with the background. Do you guys see how that's working out? So like right here, the circle finishes. All right, so it's those little detail things that make all the difference in a project. If you can get those to line up. It's the same thing like when you go to the store and you buy clothing and you have a choice. You can buy an article of clothing with a pattern on it where the pattern matches up at the sleeve and it matches up all the way down and it looks even. Or you can buy the cheaper item where maybe the pattern doesn't quite line up. Like you look underneath the arm and the pattern doesn't match up and you're like, I'm not lifting my arm up. That's the same thing here. So if you can, think about where that's going to go. So this guy is going to go right over to the side here, and it's going to fit in this space perfectly. Now, here's your options is, where did my leftover piece go? So see, I ended up cutting some from the left and some from the right, so that would happen. What you want to do is perhaps get this piece cut first, all right, and then temporarily adhere it to where it's going to look and be lined up perfect, right? So use some temporary dado adhesive or whatever to keep this all adhered together, and then cut your bigger piece out with that still attached, so you know exactly where it's going to go and that it's going to line up perfectly and everything is square. That's how you get a really, really nice looking card. That's what they teach us in the military. Attention to detail. So, or if you're, you know, a musician, or like I said, if you sew and you're doing, like, even if you're doing quilting, right, your attention to detail as far as how the pattern lines up and everything is really, really important. It's the same way in card making. All right, so we just pop on our piece here. Now, if it is a little long, I try to get it so that it's long on a space where I can cut it. So if it's a little long, I can cut it, trim it here. I can trim it off the bottom. No worries. All right, so Sue says, when I die cut, I just cut wherever, never paying attention. I challenge you to pay attention. See if you feel like it elevates your cards just a little bit more. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes it doesn't matter at all. Sometimes it does. When you try to match up patterns like this and you can get a really cool result because of that, do it. Okay. So as you can see, this card comes together super quick. Let me just zoom in a little bit now that we've got a lot of our working space done here. So I'm going to use some double-sided foam adhesive. And put that on the back of my banner. Now I will tell you, once you put the foam adhesive on your banner and you go to line things up, if it's off just a little bit, that's okay. So because the like the dimension makes a difference. So yeah. All right, so here we are. You can see our pattern here. And we're going to put this guy on. Okay. So. There we go. I think that's about right. Sometimes you have to, when you're using the foam, either you need to get right over it or you need to hold it up just to make sure you've got it right. Oh, there we go. Super nice. Can I do it? Yes. Okay. There it is. Love it. This really just needs like one little thing on it and you could be totally done. But we're gonna go for the gusto here. All right, so our T, it would look kind of boring this way. It looks kind of like plain this way too, but when we do a little offset, get a little dimension on that, looks really great. You don't have to offset this by much. Just make sure that it's offset evenly. All right. So just like that. Perfect. Okay. So now before you go gluing everything down, we want to look at how things are going to fit together. So the nice thing about this little element here is that we can kind of weave things in and out. If we want to go behind a little bit and in front a little bit, kind of like, kind of like so. We can do that. Keeping the T centered on the banner is a really good idea. All right, so there you go. Something like that. That looks pretty good. So if you want to keep this in place, just grab some of your temporary tape or a little bit of washi tape and just hold these top bits down while you add just a little dab of glue back here. To grab this. And here's another little trick. So I use liquid glue. It might be gushing out a little bit. I'm going to take yet another little piece here. No one's ever going to see this. You can tape that down and leave it there forever. Don't have to worry about it. All right. So now that's taped down. That's good. And then I want to tape this, or glue the top one. We're not going to glue the bottom one yet. I'm going to show you a cute little trick. All right, so gently flip things around and add a little bit of glue. Don't need a whole lot here. Just enough really to tack it in place. Once it's all put down, it's not going to move. See how that's like already not moving? That's great. So just hold that for a second. While we're waiting, Cece says she usually puts some liquid glue on the back of the foam tape, then she can move the die cut a little if needed. And that's a great idea. So even though you're using the foam tape, if you don't want it to stick down right away, put a little bit of liquid glue on there and then it gives you a little shimmy room, right? So smart. Thanks for sharing, Cece. Okay, so we've got this little piece here that we haven't done yet because I'm going to take our sentiment. Watch this. I don't want it to like go all the way across the top. I kind of want it to look integrated. So let's see. Yeah, I'm going to feed it through. And get it to just kind of hang out right there. And that kind of brings everything together. So you can move your sentiment around to get it right where you want it. Like so. And again, I'm going to take a piece of tape and just put it on the top to kind of help keep everything together while I add some glue on the back side. All right, so now make sure that this is nice and square looking. You can leave that tape on there just to kind of help hold everything. That looks pretty good. You can do a little shimmy if you need. And that's going to go right on our card. And this is going to go flat on, so you don't have to worry about any other foam or anything like that. Just a little bit of glue on our T and our extra little bits hanging off the end here. If this starts to be like too much, you grab the tweezers so that you're not getting glue all over your hands, right? And then we're going to just, don't forget our goal here was to center the T left to right on the banner, and we're going to have it come down just a little bit. So there we go. See, that's what happens when you get glue on your fingers. Let's try that again. I'll just sit here for a minute. Yeah, it's just a cute little arrangement. Now we can take off our tape. And there you go. So this comes like right to the edge here. If I needed to make some adjustments, I could do just a tiny adjustment if I thought that was just too close. And honestly, working with the liquid glue gives you just a minute to move things around just a hair if you need to. There you go. And that's it. No embellishments on this one. Actually, we didn't really do many embellishments at all this month. So that just proves that you don't need to put sequins on everything, although it sure is nice. This, you could certainly put sequins on this, or you could put like some little, I would use black maybe, either black sequins or white sequins if you want them to be unobtrusive. Black sequins, you know, let's just do it. Let's just do it. We have a few minutes. Let's see, those for gems, sequins. Okay. Ooh, I'm thinking of all the cool things we could put on here now. Okay, so you could put on black sequins, or even the iridescent sequins in this mix would work great. This is the Black Russian mix from Picket Fence. You could use their gem mixes with any of the gems. Those would work as well, day and night. The black enamel dots from Altenew in their Green Field set would work really cool. Or their satin white sequins. Now their satin white sequins are off-white, so if you don't like that, then don't use them. Let's see. Let's grab some sequins from here. Let's just play around. So this is a cool thing about sequins. If you're not quite sure, you can just put them down and see what you think. So if we used these sequins, these have like these big mama bears in them. You could do something like that. Excuse me. This one doesn't, oh yeah, no, this is the same size. So this one doesn't have like a medium size black in it. It only has the large. Or you could use the iridescent ones. Excuse me. My goodness. But if you choose to put sequins on your project here, here's what I'm going to recommend. Put one or two off to the side and then put one somewhere on your piece, like, you know, maybe here. Ooh, that's a good one. So something like that to kind of help bring all the elements together. So a few sequins here and then this one down here would be just enough to create a really great finish if you want to add a little bit of sparkly bling to your project. But like I said, it totally doesn't need it. So let's put the sequins on this one, and then we will take a look at both. All right. So 1, 2, and we'll put one right here. Go. So sequins or not, really great options for you guys. There we go. Another hour has gone by and another project is done. And another month is done. We have finished our paint, paste, and powder month. We had lots of great exploration with all sorts of different mediums. If you have missed some of our projects, you can either go back to my blog and check out the month's projects, or you can go back through YouTube and look at the Running with Scissors playlist, and it'll have everything in there for you. You can check all of our projects from this month. Oh, don't forget, head out to my blog. The link is down in the description as well for my blog post, where you can get the PDF project tutorial for today's project. That is absolutely free. You can grab that and print it off and add it to your idea file and have a great time recreating this project or riffing off of it in your own way. So, folks, so glad to see you all here this month. I am really excited about the Stamp Focus Challenge. So if you missed us at the beginning of the live stream, check out bloomcrafters.com/courses. And that's got the information in there for our upcoming Stamp Focus Challenge, which starts on April 5th. And we're going to have a ton of fun with next month's stamp set with that, both here and in that private challenge. We're going to have a great time with all sorts of techniques, an amazing stamp set, some really artistic results, and you guys are going to love it. I'm going to have you pulling out all sorts of materials from your craft, and you're going to be using all sorts of things with just one stamp set, and we're going to have a great time doing it. So don't forget, next week is a 5th Thursday, so I will not be here. I will see you for our first challenge week in April. Have a wonderful rest of the month, everybody. I hope you stay safe, stay happy, stay crafty. I'll see you then, but until next time, happy crafting, everyone.